Hey there. I've spoken about this before, but I do want to do a quick summary of entering screenplay competitions because sadly there are still a lot of, there's some myths about screenplay competitions out in the world. And we obviously promote them, support them, have our own. And if you're already an active member, ISA Connect member, or get our newsletter, you've seen that we promote screenplay competitions a lot. But it is an important part of developing as a writer. And let me explain what that means, because I believe you can use screenplay competitions to improve your craft. And how do you do that, right? So there's three big things. You can enter some smaller competitions. These are important things. Enter small competitions at first, then enter them early and order feedback. Now this is at any level. It doesn't matter if you're an emerging screenwriter or if you're an advanced screenwriter. If you're working on a new draft, or even you're a couple rounds in and you're just not really seeing or getting back the right kind of response from industry pros, the agents, managers, and producers, or even submitting to writing gigs or to other competitions and people just aren't responding the way you'd hoped, use screenplay competitions to get better. It's really easy. It's it's affordable if you do it the way that I'm suggesting, by entering early, entering a smaller competition, and then, like I said, ordering the feedback. Those are the three biggest things you can do for yourself. And why are those important? Well, one, entering early. And let me back it up. Entering a smaller competition, you're competing with fewer people, right? So it's possible you could get an award, which, if for selfish reasons, if that's the reason you're doing is just get that award, great, right? We all want the validation. That's nice. It's harder to get those awards in big competitions when you're competing between 7 and 10 or 12,000 entries, especially if it's a new draft. And it doesn't matter how qualified you are as a writer, because writing a great screenplay is difficult. It doesn't matter how qualified you are. It's, you may have some improvement. You may be able to do more than emerging screenwriters, but why throw your hat in the ring on a first draft until you've gotten some reviews back, right? So if you start with a smaller competition, you get some notes, you could potentially get some notes back, but you could see where you place. Let's just say you don't even request notes. You submit, you get your screenplay in there, and it has 500 or 1,000 entries, and you don't place. You don't even make the quarterfinals. Well, okay, that tells you something immediately, right? You spent a little bit less money. It's a smaller competition. If you didn't place in a smaller, reputable competition, that's a sign. But what I would encourage you to do is so if you want to save money, enter early, because the entry fees will be really low, and then just leave the draft sitting out there and see what happens. If you want to, what I would really encourage is getting the feedback. Right? You submit to a smaller competition, and you should do this with every competition. Get notes as often as you possibly can. But what I like to do is enter 3 smaller competitions with the exact same draft at the exact same time, so that I could see when the notes come back, I can compare and contrast the 3 different readers, what their opinions are. If they're screenplay competitions, with qualified screenplay competitions, the readers obviously don't know me. They don't know my voice. They know nothing about me. It's a totally cold read. That's 100% what you want, beyond just having a friend read your screenplay. If you have somebody who knows your voice, they're going to hear you in your words. So you really want readers who don't know you in any kind of way. In small screenplay competitions, what are the odds that they're going to know you personally? Most times your name's not even on the title page, so there's no way they can know you, even if you're an advanced writer. But you get those notes back, and you can compare and contrast the 3 different versions from the 3 different qualified readers. And in those 3 sets of notes, you're going to see some similarities of things that need improvement. And those similarities are something you have to take very seriously, because somewhere in your work, it's not working if 3 readers, have said the exact same sort of thing about what's missing or what doesn't feel right, or there's something confusing about a scene or sequence. So take advantage of that, but then not only do you get the similarities, but then some of them may give you just some personal insights, some other ideas. And any of those additional nuggets, I mean, this is great. Why not? Why not have a little bit extra insight into developing your story or characters? Sometimes some great inspiration comes from a reader that just threw an idea out there and like, oh my God, that would totally make this scene work a little bit better. It would actually elevate it. So that's another great advantage. And then you ultimately you get those notes in. And what I like as a nice result of submitting to 3 competitions at once is the time. Some come back quickly, some take 3 months. But I think absorb the notes in time, slowly, and separate yourself so that you have moments to absorb and let your subconscious mind kind of process some of this. You know that losing your keys kind of thing where you can't remember where the heck you put your keys until you stop thinking about it? Well, this forces you to stop thinking about it to a degree. You just let it go, you sit there and you wait until all 3 sets of notes come in. And we all have egos about this, right? Like the notes come in and the first reaction is they don't know what they're talking about, but they do. If they're qualified competitions, particularly if they're listed on the ISA website and you've ordered the feedback, they're going to know what they're talking about. And you got to trust that. You have to be able to find companies that you trust. Our feedback system is set up that way. A lot of the competitions, we have verified them. So you can trust them and you can trust the readers, particularly if you're getting 3 sets of notes back and all 3 readers said the same darn things. Use that to your advantage and then take some time, which get back to the time thing, let it process, sink in, and then go back and do a rewrite. Once you have a solid rewrite, you feel very confident in it, take another 3 competitions, maybe move up to a mid-tier competitions, right? Personally, I would just start with the small ones again to see if the rewrite worked, instead of spending a whole lot of extra money on some mid-tier or higher level competitions. But if you get in early enough, that's okay. If you're ordering another set of notes, that's okay. If you're pacing this out over, 2-3 months, it becomes more affordable. And you have to invest in your career, right? So you might as well invest in a way that's going to work for you. The industry will tell you, reputable competitions, if you're not placing, they'll tell you, that's telling you your screenplay is not ready. Maybe a one-off says you're not placing and 2 others said you did. Okay, well maybe sometimes some of those contests maybe you caught a reader on a bad day, but most of the reputable competitions, in particular the ones listed on our site, are all gonna have qualified readers, and you gotta trust those notes. And then you do, and then you do the rewrite, and then you submit to another set, and then you see where you place there. And honestly, I've had times when I've written something, rewritten it, even with all this that I'm talking about, and I didn't make it better. I kind of made it worse because I rushed it. I didn't give it the time that I was talking about. This is why I'm saying this, is that I didn't let it all just process. I didn't let the characters kind of work them, some of the problems that they were running into, some of the notes that I received. I didn't give it enough time. And so in giving it time, kind of sort out those problems, do the rewrite, submit again, and see where you go. Get the notes again, and then try again. In the meantime, work on another project, another way to just separate yourself from the previous script. You shouldn't be just working on it, working and working. It's so easy to get lost in it and to not see the forest through the trees, as they say. Okay, enter small competitions to start, enter early to save yourself some money, and order feedback so you make sure that you're getting qualified notes in the door so that you can then take those notes and do a rewrite on your script. If you cycle those out through the year, because no screenplay is written in 90 days, even though no great screenplay is written in 90 days, I believe. I think a lot of people think they do, but I think screenplays take some time, just like a fine wine, to evolve. And if you trust that, and if you love to write, then as the notes come in, you take it, you let your ego go, you absorb the notes, you give it some time, then you do the rewrite, and you develop something you bring something greater, the next great level to your screenplay. So I hope that's helping. I hope that makes sense to you. I hope it's encouraging you, because the last thing we want is you to be discouraged. And I think a lot of writers submit to screenplay competitions. They spend a bunch of money. They get nothing in return because they're not really using them to their advantage. And then they step out, and we need storytellers. We need more great storytellers. And everyone on this planet has a unique voice. Not everyone's a perfect screenwriter, but you work at it, you develop your craft, and you become a better screenwriter, and your stories become more compelling. And that's what we want, to encourage you to keep at it, because it's not easy. It's just a difficult industry to break into, but it is doable. And if you really love it and you're committed to getting better, here's a little tip for you. Just use competitions so you don't blow your money and end up discouraged and no longer a part of the screenwriting world and storytelling world. That's what we definitely don't want. So, and we do have, if you want to enter screenplay competitions efficiently, we have our ISA Connect membership. It's not for everybody. You don't have to do it, but it's a $10 monthly plan. I feel like I'm doing a commercial now for the ISA Connect, but it's just, I just want to let you know how it works. You get 4 competition entries per year, so you can kind of follow the plan that we're talking about. You can submit to 1 competition every 3 months. Then you add on your other competitions that you want to do. You don't have to do the ISA Connect. It's there as an option. But you get 4 competition entries, plus submitting the writing gigs and all the other benefits, which you can search on the site. But the main thing is to save you money and make it a lot more affordable to invest in yourself, which is critical to this industry. You can't do it alone. You gotta get the education, you gotta improve, you gotta be submitting, you gotta get your work out there, and the ISA is here for all of that, to help you. So any questions, feel free to email me at craigjames@networkisa.org. Happy to answer those questions and look for more videos as they come out. Thanks.